Hi folks, welcome to my humble homestead in the forest, and today a treat for me anyway, but maybe also for you. This square box that you see is my retired for the year since last year compost bin. So the way it works is that everything that was in here was at once behind you, sort of in an indoor closure. I mean, it's got a wire mesh so the air and the rain and the moisture and everything can get in and get out. And then I layered that with ash and leaves over the year. And when I empty this, which is now, you'll be able to see, into the 33 organic raised beds that we have, once this is empty, I bring what's behind you. It's about the same thing. It's about the same size into this, and it rests here, retires here, rests here for a year, and then a year later they go over there. So from there to here, from here to there. So you can't see from where you are now, and I will bring the camera over to set it up so you can have a closer view. But right now, this was full last year this time when I emptied it. When I refilled it with what's in there, with like sandwiching it or lasagnaing it, whatever, with leaves. So it was up to here with leaves. Right now, it's about here or here. So what that means is that it's settled. The leaves have broken down and the compost is broken down. It should be a nice, yummy thing. And I always top it with another whole top layer of leaves. That can't really get broken down because, well, it doesn't have. So for a compost to work, you need dry and wet and dry and wet. So that didn't have any sort of compost on top of it, so it didn't break down. But that's okay. It's where it's gonna go now. It will still rest, possibly for another few months till springtime that we go and plant something else in it, with the exception of the garlic, which is going in there this year. Soon it is. It is, I think, October 20th, around that time right now. So I'm going to go switch the camera around and bring it closer so you can see. Now remove this top layer. I only have this there for the raccoons and whatever other critters, so that they don't go in there and nest there or eat the rotting apples and whatever. All right? Okay. So here we are, folks, the unveiling. So I don't know if you can see better now, but to get to the rest of it, I also have to remove one of the side walls. So it's got 4 walls. And now that you can see what's going on, how far, you see how far it's, I don't know if you can see, let me see. Yeah, you can see how far it's settled. From here to here, it's settled a good foot and a half. So this is really good soil. Before we get to what that soil looks like, let me remove one of the walls and then we'll come back again and I'll show you again. Okay. So one side wall is off. I'm able to get inside of it, and I'm just going to remove this layer of leaves so I can get to the actual soil. And this is going into my rhubarb bed right now. Wow, I can just see the soil right there. Gorgeous. Leaves are amazing things too. They've been there, they've been out in the outdoors, kind of exposed, kind of not, but for almost a year, and they still haven't broken down. This is why it's important that you should get, as much as you can, mulched leaves, because on their own they won't break down as much unless they're under actual heavy snow and rain, depending on where you live. Once I remove these beautiful leaves, I'll bring the camera around so you can see the gorgeous soil. Smells good. Broken down cellulose and compost and really everything that normally goes into the compost after it breaks down. So it looks like I've gone from 3 feet of more or less raw compost to about a foot of condensed compost. So now you can kind of see, now the more you have, the more you have to start with. Obviously the more brilliant compost you'll have a year later. But that depends on the size of your family, how much you consume, how much you eat, and I suppose how much leaves also you put in. But leaves alone, on their own, though, are not necessarily a compost make, but it certainly helps a lot. Okay, let's shift the camera somewhere else to show you a better angle of this yumminess. So here we go, folks. You can see this gorgeous soil with the leaves from the top removed. That was about half a foot, maybe 7 inches. And let's see what it looks like inside. It should have a lot of red wrigglers. And not everything got composted, like the avocado skin peel or avocado seeds. I'm taking them out, but you don't have to. They're mostly done. Oh. Wow, a lot of avocados. The soil is so good. Now to this tea bag, branches, we don't want branches. To this, I'm going to add as always, a shovel full of ash. Show you what that looks like. That's what it looks like. Hardwood ash is better than softwood ash, if you have it. I'm going to turn this and mix it in the wheelbarrow I have here before I put the rest on top. Wow, lots of avocados. Holy moly. All right, more soil. But really, other than the avocados, I don't see any evidence of anything else in there. You know, everything else is broken down pretty well. You know, occasional tea bag. And we may not have that for next year either, because we're using more loose leaf teas this year as we make our own more and more. Yeah, more avocados, yeah? Okay. Jeez. I don't know what's in their skin that doesn't make them break down as much as everything else. Yeah, more and more, wow. Holy. More avocados. Holy. Maybe it's because that everything else is so broken down that when I see avocados, it seems like we use so much. So here we are, folks. I've loaded my wheelbarrow. I'm just going to do one bed for you so you can see how we do it. The beds, most of the beds have had horse manure in them, except for the ones that still have anything growing in it. And then what happens is that a thin layer, so the horse manure is a thick layer, maybe, you know, whatever this is, say 4 inches. And on a thin layer of composted manure goes on top of that because it's even more balanced than horse manure. And then we'll rake it smooth. And for this year, that would be our garlic to plant. And once all these beds are emptied, I have right now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 beds, 9 beds still have things growing in them. Once they're empty, Then I'll put horse manure on them, about, like I said, 4-6 inches, and then a thin layer of composted manure on top of that. Okay, I'll just let you enjoy this a little bit. So that's pretty much it. Just gonna now give it a nice rake to even it out. And that's one of the 4 or 6 garlic beds for next year, which have to be planted soon. If I remember, I'll do a video of us planting our garlics too for next year. So garlic likes ash in it, wood ash. It doesn't want to share its soil with anything, absolutely anything. And also it prefers looser soil than harder, clumpier soil, if you're able to. Well, folks, we're back, and now that I've managed to finish emptying this space, you can see about 3 of those logs high. That's how much it was. Whatever this works out to be, 4 feet by 4 feet square, 16 square feet, and about a foot high, whatever that works out to in cubic feet. And now that I've emptied that, the next thing to do is what I was explaining at the beginning of the video, is that now I'm going to refill this with what was in the fresher compost, this year's compost. So by doing this, I get to turn it, and turning it is so it can get really it's something that you really need to do. It helps with breaking down. And secondly, I transport it here, and I would do a sort of a lasagna, layering it with leaves and also ash, and then it'll sit here till next year when I come back and, as you saw, empty it into the raised beds. I'll just show you a little bit how I get it ready. You don't need to see the whole thing. I know you're busy. You have places to be. And here I have some big pieces of stalks and things, of bigger pieces that aren't necessarily going to break down so fast. So I put these around the sides, so to help with the soil not sticking to the sides when I go to. I don't have a lot. I mean, when I take the broccoli out, I should have done that, and Brussels sprouts and also kale. That would have been good to put in here around the wall sides, so that soil doesn't fall through the cracks, as you may be able to see in between on the logs. Now I'm going to put a layer of fresh leaves, and this is from the town, so I don't know what's in it. Don't want any sticks or anything in there, or any garbage. Sometimes people put their garbage in it, like now, for instance, here. And you pick those up, those in my pocket. I go inside the house, so I get rid of them. So a nice generous, I mean, depends on how much leaves you have, but I like to put a nice generous layer, a few inches. Another stick, get rid of that. So that's about right. Now, time to put some compost. And this compost is not, I mean, it has some odor in it, is because it's breaking down, but as opposed to the one you saw earlier, had broken down. So it's going to have some smell to it, but it's not horrible, it's not stinky, especially since there's no meat in it. No meat, no fat, no eggs, no dairy. Much harder to get into because a lot of, I mean, of course, the smaller you chop your veggies, the easier to pick up and the faster it will break down. But oftentimes you don't have the time, or you don't want to spend the time doing that. No different. When you're cooking, you're focusing on your cooking, not composting. I see the red regulars already here, which means that even though this compost isn't anywhere near having been composted, it's doing well where it is. I want to show you, ooh, a whole family of them. I wonder if you can see. That's what's called red regulars. And they're very expensive to buy their poop. The earthworms and whatever else eat them. So I've tried to do this inside the house one time, and I wasn't successful. And I think the reason for that was that the regular worms were eating them. So either that or we weren't doing something right. So you see how I just covered the leaves basically. And now I'm going to put a fine layer of ash. Not a heavy layer, but just a fine layer. Ash is high in potassium and trace elements. So we're back to the leaves again now. There's a cap, beer cap in there. Not good. Oh, some cigarette butt. Somebody was a smoker. Well, the rest of it I can't use because I don't want these toxins in there. That's really too bad. Well, the top layer didn't have any cigarettes in it. You see what I mean? You really have to be careful. Now, I couldn't have seen this when I was picking it up from the side of the road, that the people were smokers. Oh, horrible, horrible. And my pet peeves. Well, now I have to return this to the town, to where I got it from, to the guy's house, because I don't want his cigarettes. I have to just try to remember where I got it from. Oh, what a horrible thing to do. People using this as their garbage can. This is supposed to go into some kind of city facility to be used with the rest of leaves to make mulch for what city uses for their those islands that you see when city plants things there. Horrible, horrible, horrible habit. All the toxins and carcinogens. But people are addicted to them. Well, that's it for that bag. I'll have to go get another bag. All right, that's okay. I got many bags. But anyway, you get the idea what I'm doing. Layering it. Now, folks, here we are again. You can see that I'm loading the wall that I had taken down, and just giving you a bit of a progress report of where I'm at right now. As you can see, I'm building it up. Right now I'm where I was, or where the compost was when I took it down, when I emptied it at the beginning of the video. So lots and lots of red regulars, which is glorious, and still busy with layering it with leaves and ash. And I'll probably do another video when I'm done with it. Just a progress report right now.